afterwards. This is a neat little radio. I'm not even going to try to tell you what all it does because it does a lot. All right, Duane.
Y'all hear me?
Oh, you I can get yours.
It's turned on now.
Yeah, you shared your screen. Good on the Zoom. Let's share your screen.
Zoom. I don't know.
w5nor.org/Zoom.
Oh.
.org/Zoom.
Y'all hear me?
Light like that. Well,
yeah.
you should be able to share.
Do I need to join with the chat?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. And then
Share screen.
where to Zoom? Share screen. Screen.
Hey, there we go. Okay, y'all can hear me? Okay, what we're going to do today is talk about the QUANSHENG UV K5 or the K5 88 or the K5 6. Okay, is it doing it now? Okay, we're going to talk about the QUANSHENG UV K5, the K5 in parentheses 8, which is also the K6. So this radio is a 2-meter 440 radio. And out of the box, that's all it does. But with hacked firmware that these guys have been working on for the last, probably for the last
4 months.
4, 5, 6 months, this radio becomes a whole lot more. It will do AM. Now, keep in mind, there's an FM chip in here. There's no AM chip. There's no sideband chip in here. What they've done is they have tricked the radio into saying, okay, I'm going to do AM. When they first brought it out, it wasn't real good. But then this gentleman called EGZUMER, pronounced Exumer, hacked the radio and did an AM fix on the radio. Now this does AM very well. I don't know if I can.
Sounds like the AM band.
Yeah. Well, Will Rogers is not transmitting right now, but I have it on the Will Rogers tower frequency and it works fine. It sounds like, you and me talking right now. So they've done a wonderful job. Which one is that? I'll leave it turned up a little bit. But in addition to that, the radio will also do sideband. I have taken that radio with my iPad, loaded a program called IF, India Foxtrot Tango X-ray, and listened to 10-meter FT8, and I can decode on my laptop or my iPhone. How many of you do FT8? Okay, so you can decode that on this radio. I have all of the local towers. I don't have Max Westheimer in here, but I have all the local towers that I listen to, Tinker, Will Rogers, Wiley Post, in that radio, and I can listen to that. That's not supposed to do that, but because their firmware hacks have allowed that to happen. The other thing that you can do with this is you want to program it. It has a program called QUANSHENG dock. And there it is. I have my programming cable plugged into this radio. And what you're seeing is what's on my radio right now on the screen. So we can go over here and we can do a lot of things with this. For instance, we can do a channel edit. And if I do a read, it's reading the radio. Boom. Now, there are all the frequencies that I have programmed into that radio are all on QUANSHENG dock. And if I want to go in and add a frequency, all I have to do is come down to a blank spot. Say number 49 and highlight number 49. And now I can go in there and add whatever frequency I want to add into number 49. I can add whether it's wide or narrow. I can add low power. If there are any tones involved with it, I can put all that in there. So this will allow you to program the radio without having anything special. The radio like I said, it's 144 to 148 and 70 centimeters. And well, it doesn't do 222 out of the box. You have to turn all that on. Now in the radio itself, you have menus. And those menus, there's 61 menu items in there. You can change, you can do everything. You can change it from doing AM to doing FM to doing upper sideband, lower sideband. All that is possible because of the hacked firmware. So your little $35 or whatever you pay for it, how many have one? Your little $35 or $40, whatever you paid for the radio is much more powerful than just a 2-meter 440. I have used it to work W5GDL's 222 repeater up on the Sandridge building downtown from my house, but it only puts out, it only transmits at about, half a watt, maybe less than that, but it works fine. A lot of people overseas, especially the Italians, are listening to CB frequencies on the radio. And it works very well. Now you can't transmit, but they're listening to it. Let me close this. So here's some more things you can do with this. By virtue of the fact that what you're looking at here is a program called QUANSHENG Dock. It's a docking program. So you plug your programming cable into the radio and you run QUANSHENG Dock. You have to have a certain firmware. The firmware has to be 0.32.8 X-ray. Once you put that on your radio, then you run QUANSHENG Dock, and that version is 0.32.20.Quebec. Those two work fine together. Once you've done that, then you plug it in, run your program, and then you'll come up with this. This will show you everything that you have in your radio, but the other thing it will do is you have a spectrum analyzer built into it. So you can look and I don't think.
Wait, everything you're doing, you can do from the front panel, right?
Yes.
So that shows up on the front panel.
Well, no, it shows up differently on the front panel. It'll actually show up. Let me see if I don't know if I have a picture. Let me finish this first. The spectrum analyzer works also from the front of the radio, as Mark said. And what it does is it has a line down at the bottom that will show you as whatever frequency you're listening to. as spikes. And you can go to bring your cursor over to a spike, click on that, and it will change that frequency. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing, it has whatever your VFO frequency is on, it now shows up into the VFO, and you can change it's here. So you can see I'm changing the frequency to wherever frequency I need to change it to. Now, I've been talking with Mark Clayton. Mark says when he has his plugged in, he hears the audio from the radio. I don't. And that's because, and I don't know how he's doing it yet, but he hasn't proven it to me yet. Because all the instructions for the QUANSHENG dock tell me that once you plug the programming cable into the USB port, it shuts the speaker off. So you have to have what's called an all-in-one cable, an AIOC. Now that AIOC, you can buy it as a kit. I don't remember how much it is as a kit, but I paid $20, and it doesn't come with an outside case, but you can order one from him for an additional $2 if you order the AIOC. What that does is it allows you, it has the dual plugs on the radio, on the side of the radio, and that actually plugs in to the radio, and then you run a USB cable from your computer to the radio, and now you can hear the audio from your radio. It also does a lot of other things too. I just found out about this AIOC 2-3 days ago, and I ordered one, so I haven't had a chance to play with it. It'll be here today in my mail. So what about Bluetooth?
About being able to do radio to radio.
Well, with this firmware, it won't do that anymore.
Oh, 32.8.
Yeah. Used to be from the factory, an unmodified radio, you can do what's called air copy. So if you have a buddy who has both of you bought radios at the same time, you've programmed yours, but he hasn't done anything with his. You can set the two radios together, run what's called air copy, and it will copy the program from all the memories from your radio to his radio, RF. But once you have programmed your radio with the hacked, I call it hacked, maybe not a good word to say, but with the improved firmware, you can't do that anymore. Why? The memory in this is only like 60K. So it's really tight programming, and they have taken out all the stuff that most people have said, we don't need that. So we're reaching the limit of what new stuff they can put into this radio, but they're doing an excellent job, and this radio now becomes a much better radio than what you had originally. That is, if you want to listen to the AM. How many of you listen to the AM tower frequencies or aircraft frequencies? I do it all the time because I'm a photographer, and I listen to Tinker Tower, and when I hear something that may be coming in, then I'm only 3 miles from the base, so I can go out there, take my pictures, and I'm good to go. Now I can do that with this radio. I can listen to all those frequencies. So, what else?
You can, and I say this loosely, you can receive and you're not SEC licensed, not really do it, unless you have a license because they really don't want you to use radio for it. Do GMRS. The local Oklahoma City main repeater for that is 462 650. And yes, this works. I've already tried it. I
Yes.
have a GMRS license.
It works fine.
It works fine.
And I have a GMRS license, so I have done that. But this is not Part 90 accepted either, so
But it does
legalities, but it does work.
You might talk about the purity of the signal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How many of you own a Baofeng? Everybody. The Baofengs are notoriously unclean frequency-wise. They tend to produce spikes all the way down the line. They're a good radio, but if you're putting out a lot of power, you're gonna, and I say a lot of power, what are you gonna put out? 5 watts, big deal. But they're not a clean radio. I've put my Baofeng on a spectrum analyzer and it shows spikes every 10 kilohertz, maybe every 20 kilohertz. This radio does not do that. This radio is very clean radio. And I put it on the same spectrum analyzer using the same bands, and it's very clean. So, and how many of you have a UV K5, K6 or whatever? For those of you that don't, I'll pass this around and you can feel that it's a very heavy radio. It's all aluminum cased on the inside.
It does have a very good battery with it.
Yeah, the battery lasts a long time.
If you're receiving just listings with it, you can do it several days without ever having to worry about charging it. If you're transmitting and you're a little here, a little there, you'll still go almost 2 days. It will do USB charging with the, if you want to do it, or you can do it in its base that comes with it.
And it's USB-C.
Yes.
The inside is aluminum. So it's a pretty heavy, stout radio. So you're not going to, it doesn't feel like a Baofeng. I mean, Baofengs they're very light radios. They're usually plastic cased. These are very solid. I forget the name they called this, but it's a very solid case. Now, this is a Quanshen UV K5R plus. Why is it a plus? Because this has a battery on that is what? I think that's an 1800 milliamp battery.
Yeah.
What is that?
Power out here.
Wiley Post. This battery is 2200 milliamps. It's a larger battery, but this battery will fit fine on the UV K5R plus. But if you want to put this battery on a UV K6, you have to clip a little tab off on the battery, which doesn't hurt it because it still fits on either one of them, but it will fit on your radio.
I will mention that if you're thinking, gee, I need to get one of those, Brent, Brent the club here has ordered a batch of these radios that hopefully he'll get the first week. He was hoping he'd have them yesterday. How shipping is. He's offering the radio, the long antenna, and programming cable for $40 the whole thing. This pack. And he should have some hopefully this week. So if you're interested, you can get with Brent on getting one of the radios.
Now, How many of you do Facebook? Probably everybody. On Facebook, this QUANSHENG dock has its own Facebook page.
You write that down.
And there it is at the top. QUANSHENG dock / X-ray Victor Foxtrot Ocean space UV-K5/K6/5R plus, which is the radio I just showed you. Now, on there, you're going to find a lot of stuff going on. And what you're going to find is unplug this real quick. Now, the picture you're seeing right now, another gentleman has he's reversed engineered the radio. He's got the schematics on the radio. He has produced a circuit board. Let's see, is that here? Wrong one, I think. There it is. See this board right here? You have to take the radio apart. You can get the circuit board. I think you can get it populated. I don't know what it costs because this had just come out like 3 days ago. And you solder that new circuit board in there, and now it gives you the ability to do real AM and sideband, because now instead of being a FM only chip, it is now a sideband chip. You're going, well, you know, okay, what if I mess it up? Well, you know, buy a new radio because it's only $35. So, but this is what the no, it takes the place of the FM chip that's in this radio, and it like gives it superpowers. Now, myself, I will not be doing that. Well, well, you got money to burn. If I had, if I had your money, I'd burn mine. It gives you the ability to do true AM, because what you're doing now is just they're fooling the FM chip and saying, okay, I'm doing AM now, but this is a true AM chip.
But you still have FM also?
Yes, because it has it does FM, it does AM.
Well, the new chip does
the new chip does it all.
Does it do your dishes? Does it wash your dishes?
No, but I'm sure that will come up here for too long. Let's see. There's the board. It's a very thin board, and that's populated. And you just solder that over what's in there. I don't think you have to take anything out. You just solder over what's already in there. Let's see. Let me go to.
Oh yeah, you forgot to mention the
Oh yeah.
This go ahead.
I don't know if the new firmware does that.
I haven't checked the chip.
Yeah, and I haven't either. But I have another firmware that I put on my radio that I can use the radio by using the memory key and the PTT. I can send CW on whatever frequency I'm on. Is that cool or what? So say you're on 144, 200. And you hear somebody on there because you've got a 2-meter antenna on there, and you hear somebody on there sending CW. You can send it right back to them just by using the memory, the orange key in this case, or the regular black key on the other radios, and their PTT just by doing dots and dashes. You can send CW, and it actually sends it out over the air. Pretty slick.
Do that on the HF side or just?
No, because you can't transmit on HF.
Right.
Or at least not yet. I'm sure that somebody will in this year sometime will come out and say, hey, now that'll really excite the CB users over in Italy. I'll show you, this is the AIOC. There it is. It plugs into the side of your radio. And then you have a USB-C connection here that plugs into your laptop. Then you should be able to, mine comes in the mail today. It ought to be here in about a couple hours, I guess. And once I get it and I play with it, I'll report back to you how it works. But this thing is supposed to be a digital type sound card for your radio, since the radio doesn't have a sound card. But it plugs in to the side, and you can buy, he sells a case for an additional $2, and it's a 3D printed case. I have a friend of mine who's hopefully printed me one today. But that's what it does. And it's $34.99. And you can see last night there were 8 left. Now there are none. They're very hard to find. So if you're interested in an AIOC cable, November Alpha 6 Delta, go to his website and check on it often, because he's the one who builds these by himself. So if you want one, then check out there often and then buy it, because they go very fast.
That is not a kit that is fully assembled.
You can get it as a kit, yes. Did he say how much it is as a kit?
It is fully assembled. That one's fully assembled.
This one's fully assembled, and the one I bought's fully assembled. But this is supposed to do wondrous things, so we're gonna find out.
That's where the dishes come.
Yeah, that's where the dishes, right? Let's see. There's another board here. Here it is. Now this, you can see it has 1, 2, 3 different dual cable connectors on it. And then it has 1 audio out. I'm going to buy one of these too, because I don't know what this does either.
Wait.
Well, he doesn't explain it very well.
Is it audio jack?
Well, it's transmit receive jacks, just like it is on the side of the radio. And you plug. I don't know.
More to follow.
More to follow. I'll report back on this too. But I'm telling you, this radio is just. I just bought an ICOM ID52, That's a $650 radio. And it does a whole lot more than this radio, but there are things that that radio won't do that this one will do. So I can't receive sideband on my ID52, but I sure can on this one. Now, initially, early on, this was limited to 10 meters only, but now it'll go down to 15 megahertz. So it will go way down there. So I have, I'm fixing to program his radio, which I've put the firmware on it already, with the frequencies that I have in my radio. And my radio has a 10-meter sideband. It has a 15-meter sideband. It has a 17-meter sideband frequency for HF. And I have, this antenna doesn't work real well inside here, but I have at my house an antenna specifically that I plug into for this radio. And I can take this radio, put it on the 10-meter sideband frequency, and run this program. Can't see it very well, but it will decode FT8. Yes, it will only decode. It won't transmit, but you can decode FT8. So if you're sitting there and you want to amaze one of your buddies down the street and say, hey, look here, this FT8 decode. He'll probably look at you, the heck is FT8? But it will decode FT8, and you can actually see what's going on. Do what? It won't work on Android. I don't think there's an Android, but your iOS, iPhones, and your iPads, it's called India Foxtrot Tango X-Ray.
So it would also work whisper listen, maybe? If you have that,
Yeah.
If you have that other board,
Yeah.
you should be able to do whisper listen, so you can do whisper light kind of thing.
Yep.
I'm still looking for an Android version of that program. I have an Android phone. I haven't found one yet, but I'm still looking for one that's similar to what he's talking.
Sound of our people.
What else am I missing?
If you want to walk through any of the setup process that unload the thing?
Oh yeah, I can do that. If you're going to play with this radio and you're going to put the programming software on your computer,
What's up, buddy? What's up?
you'll need,
I said, what's up?
What is up?
Yeah.
As far as I can see, nothing but.
you'll need a program called K5PROG -WIN -main.
We'll have a web page for all of it.
That is a programmer, and it looks like that's what it looks like. So you would put your serial port, whatever that is, And then the send speed should always be 384-K5/K6. Then once it hooks up, you'll get a confirmation. Then all of those that are grayed out, read confirmation or configuration right and all that stuff, you'll be able to now click on those. So if you're just going to program your radio with the firmware, and the firmware is going to be 0.32.8x. And that will give you all the abilities that I just went through on this radio. Now, if you're going to use the QUANSHENG dock, you have to be running dock version 032.20 Quebec. It has to be. Now, once you've got those two, then to program the radio with the firmware, then you would bring up your K5 prog.win or -win, and then where it says write the firmware, you would then go in, and once you've downloaded the firmware, now my suggestion would be that you download the firmware-packed.bin. So you would click write firmware. It would take you to a window of your PC files, and wherever you have put that program, then you would double click on it, and it's going to start programming the radio. Once it's programmed, it'll quit. Then you can unplug your cable, and you'll have all of the features that I currently have and Mark has, and well, he doesn't have it yet. But
You can get it for me.
did I?
Yeah, you did.
But I didn't put the new stuff on there.
There's more.
Yes.
You don't have the stuff we've been talking about today.
Every day. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you
get out
need to
there, and there's a new toy, a new part of it every day.
all the time.
Yeah.
So once you get done programming it, you can get rid of that. Then, if you're going to run QUANSHENG dock, which is really how I program my radio today, is using QUANSHENG dock. Once you've done that, then run QUANSHENG dock, and we showed you earlier how you can use the read configuration of the radio. It'll read the radio, everything. You can save that config, and it saves it as my-config on your laptop, so that if something does happen, you can always go back in and reload that. But then if you're going to change, add a frequency or delete a frequency, whatever, you just go into QUANSHENG dock, and it says read. Yeah, read config or something like that. And then it will come up with your frequency list. Then once you get QUANSHENG dock running, let me load QUANSHENG dock.
One thing you might keep in mind when you're programming, doing your frequencies, you got them all listed, you save it. Put your call sign in. I just do it out of habit. Just put your call sign in, put the date, say today's date, if that's when you put it in, and save it. And that way, you know that's where you started. You got your base there, all your frequencies. And then next time you make modifications or updates, put your call in there, put current date or whatever date that is, and then you've got your next file. That way, if you say, well, something I don't like about it at all, I can erase that, go back, and now I got my base file. You go by.
Now you can expand this window out. So here, channel edit. So we click channel edit. And then you want to tell it to read here. And it goes out, and you can see it's reading. Now it's done. There's all the frequencies I have in that radio. So if you go down, like I said earlier, if you go down to a blank space, There we go. And highlight it like channel 49. Now you can put your receive frequency in there. You can put your transmit frequency. You can put your receive tone if you have one, like if you've got a new repeater that you want to put in there, and it will do it. If you want to put the older hacked firmware versions using chirp, couldn't do this. It would not allow you to put an HF frequency in there. This one, you can put anything in there. Now the radio works, like I said, right now today, the radio works from 15 megahertz all the way up to 1.2 gigs. So you put it in there, you can, once you put the new stuff in there, then you tell it to write, and it will write that back out, and then you can close this. And then once you unplug it, you now have that new repeater frequency you've put in there. You can unlock. Right now, if I hit PTT, it says transmit is locked. To transmit, you must unlock transmit. They've made it to where you can unlock the transmit on this thing. And a lot of the CBers in Italy use it, and they try to transmit. But one guy showed a spectrum analyzer, and it's got a spike like every 2 kcs, it seems. So you don't, if you do decide to do this, please keep in mind transmit on HF. It may look like it's doing it, and it may only be putting out milliwatts, but if you have a ham that's next door and he's on some HF frequency, you could be sending out spikes all up and down the band. So just don't do it. Just stay within, you know, the FM stuff. Now it will not transmit on AM at all. So you have that capability. Now to unlock the transmit, now if I go down here to PTT, it tries and it will. So just don't do it. Now you can make it in the program to where it will not transmit at all. Put that in your radio, and then you won't have to worry about it. And what I do is, you can see I can transmit, but what does it transmit on? Transmits on 2 meter sideband. So I'm legal. So there are ways to get around that. I would just say, just don't play around with that, because it does on a spectrum analyzer. It does not look good on anything above the 2 meter, even 222 or 440. If you try to transmit on anything else, it's terrible. But it's not an HF chip. It's an FM. You have a config here, and this will give you a lot of options. You can change the colors of the background and all that stuff in here. Just, you know, you get this, just play around with it. Doesn't do a whole lot. It will let you select your serial port. It will let you select your microphone device, your listening device, and it will do pass-through. Now, you hear that? That's pass-through. That's not good. But play around with it, and I'm having a blast with it, because I find new things just about every day that they change. This software, since I've been playing with this about 6 months ago, has probably 8 or 9 programmers that have hacked the firmware and done their own thing. And then out of all those 8 or 9 guys, there's probably been 30 plus iterations of the firmware. What I have here today is the latest and greatest with the QUANSHENG dock and the firmware on this radio. The firmware is very stable. I have never blown up a radio. I have never bricked a radio. So has it happened? Yes. But I think it's happened because they got too ambitious and tried to do too many things with it, and it bricks the radio. So, but I found that the K5 PROG works very well to do all that for you. So let's get rid of this. Are there any questions that I can answer that you may have? Go ahead.
On the single side man receive part, you have the ability to find it to like the AC this way or that way.
Yep.
Or you stuck.
Nope.
And,
You have up and down cursor keys on the radio, and you can go, and it has it has the ability to go 5 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, 6.25, 8.33, 12 and a half, 25 kilohertz at a whack. So you can change all of that. So if you just want to hear, 5 KCs at a time. Well, yes, and I don't know if you can go down that granular, but I know that, but you can do that. And it may go down to actually maybe down to 0.1, but you can do that too. Any other question?
in QUANSHENG dock, can you cut and paste or insert?
I don't think you can, no.
Is there import of any kind?
I-
I don't remember seeing it.
I don't remember seeing anything either,
That'd be that.
but let me,
Let's put that on the Facebook page. Somebody come up with
now there is a copy and paste feature, but there's no import. Now, what you could do,
Yeah, I can copy that and then just paste it one line down and put star number 1.
yep,
Or have to paste it up.
yes.
File.
Any other questions?
As far as power, it's similar to the old thing. You haven't seen anything bad or worse compared to the old thing. 5 watts. 5 watts. 5 watts.
It's
Probably a better signal here because you don't have to make harmonic.
Yes. Like I said, it's a very clean radio. Yes, sir.
Talk again briefly about what the differences are between
The pretty much it's I don't have that's a K6, all right?
the K58, K6.
Okay, so that's what I have here.
Yeah.
The only difference really is the way it looks. This is a K6. K6 has this little gray, and I can pass this around, has a little gray with little screws. The K5 does not have that. And this is a K5R plus. And you can see it has an orange button, whereas the K6 does not have an orange menu button. It's black. Oh, and the top knob. Now since I have like 3 of these radios, I have to keep track of which ones I'm using, but the 5 Plus has a bigger battery, yes. And it comes with a bigger battery. But other than that, they all do the same thing the same way.
Same price.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think maybe I paid $40 for my K5R Plus, but I don't think it was much more than what I paid for this. Any other questions?
Why did you get the best feature?
The best feature?
Is a flashlight.
Oh yeah, it does. It has. That wasn't me, I don't think.
Always locked.
You know, I don't remember how to get the flashlight on. Anyway, well, I'll tell you this. I can turn this off and hold this down, put it into programming mode. There's your flashlight. No, no, this is a different antenna. And the stock antenna that comes on this, I could not hit the W5 GDL repeater, which is on top of the Sanders building, nor could I hit the repeater that I usually listen to, 146.82, from inside my house. I bought 4 or 5 different antennas, but this antenna will allow me to do that. I can now hit the 8.2 repeater from in my house and W5 GDL on 222 with only about half a watt. So this antenna is a very good antenna. You can get this on Amazon, and I will leave Mark a link for that on the website. Any other questions? Go out and buy one. Enjoy it.
5-minute break. So at 10:35, we'll start our business meeting.
Thanks, Wayne. Do my dishes. I know it will.
I'm sure it will.
Okay, let's get going, guys. So, golly. That projector's bright. Do we have any guests today?
Yeah.
And your name's Margaret, right?
If we had scared it off, she's gonna try to get it right. But we might scare it off.
So,
Be nice. We need more girls.
so let's start with just member introductions. Bill?
AG5DD and
Mike, S5, SOF. Tom? K5, R radio. David, K0PF3. One, KF5.
Mike.
Okay. David, K5, SRX. 5W5RG.
KF5NTV, I gotta remember that.
Carol, Bill, A5F. Lauren.
Larry, W5LHP.
Let's go to the wall. Rick?
Brad, K5. Thomas, Alphabet 5,
All right.
Duane, AA5KD.
L, A5L. Jeff, K5CKK.
Lamont, KG5GWO.
David, KI5, Jonathan, W5KDC.
KD5D, Amy.
Jail family.
W6D, Mike, KD5ASM.
Randy, A5
Chris, K5JZM.
Carl, K5, Sierra, Whiskey.
Mark, N5AZQ. Mark, N5HZR.
And I'm Rodney, KF5UZA. I almost tripped it up. Ken?
Ken, KAWGE.
All right. And online, we've got Ken, Steve, David, Andrew. Is Mark ready? All right. We're going to do last call for Gary Skaggs. He passed away January 14th. And then we'll have a moment of silence after that.
Whiskey Bravo 5, Uniform Lima Kilo. This is W5NOR Net Control. WP5ULK, this is W5NOR. For your decades of service to the amateur radio community, for your leadership to the national weather community, for your unending efforts to assist incoming radio operators, and for the thousands of people that call you friend. Whiskey Bravo 5, Uniform Lima Kilo, Gary Skaggs, you may be gone, but you will not be forgotten.
So a moment of silence for a little bit for all the hams that have gone silent. Key Bob Heil passed away this past week also. Thank you. Now we're going to do the secretary's report.
All right. Last month we had 35 members present in person with 11 via Zoom. Then we had a moment of silence for the silent keys we had lost over the last month. The secretary then read the previous meeting's minutes, and the treasurer gave treasurer's report. At the time of that report, we had over $25,954 in total assets. VE report, 1 new technician, 1 new general, 1 upgrade to general. Ham holiday, or the core report was ham holidays going to be in July, Hamorama and Ardmore's in October. Anyone interested in volunteering for that to see Mark Klein? Elk City Ham Fest was coming up on March 3rd. And the OU Amateur Radio Club is turning 100 this year. The tech committee, the repeater's up and working just fine. Galen Kitch gave a program over severe weather. And the meeting ended at 11:07.
Thank you. And Jeff has an announcement.
I don't know how many of you even listen to the repeater, but if you don't know, I've been suffering some stage 4 lung cancer. I'm well on my way to health, clean bill of health, but that's why you missed me the last few months.
We want to wish Jeff to the best. And now the treasurer's report.
Okay, start off with is membership dues are due. After this month, they are late, if I remember right. And we had several people pay last month. Net income was $496.13. And so we have 2,200 in the checking account, 24,079 in the savings account, and 159 in the petty cash. Any questions?
For a total of 26,450.63. VE and Tech Committee report.
Everything is working well, and for the VE report, we actually had 4 applicants Thursday night. Out of that, we have a new tech, a new general, and David upgraded to amateur extra.
Wow. The new general tested for tech.
Yes.
And missed 2 questions. And then on general, he missed 1 question.
That's right. Did better at general than did tech. Next test night is April 4th.
He needs to study more.
Yeah, he needs to study more. All right, Cora and ARRL.
Cora and ARRL. Cora's news is we have a meeting this afternoon. So if you're excited and want to go to Midwest City, come on and join us. There's a few folks in the room. They're going to be there, which is good. Hopefully they're going to be there. I'm not looking at them in the eye. Not gonna make them there. Yeah, okay. Not gonna call them out. The big thing that we've got going now is the Oklahoma City Marathon is coming up. Yes, April is just around the corner. For those of you that didn't remember that, like me, I'm glad Galen gave me a poke here about an hour ago. It said, "Hey, talk about the marathon." Marathon is there. It's on the SCARS webpage, w5nor.org/marathon. We will be providing, we will, that's it. Let's be assertive. We will provide 90 or so amateur important part of that radio, or that it's a radio event that they happen to run at, right? Yeah. Okay. So the runners don't do much except, help the radio guys. They pay for the whole thing, which is cool. The marathon actually makes about $1 million off of this thing, somewhere in that range, which helps run that facility. They are not a federally funded event, so any funds from this is what keeps them going throughout the year. So that's why it's so important to make sure we do this kind of stuff. How many people in here have done the marathon? I mean, not run the marathon. I mean, like helped with the radio. Okay, now the hands go up. Well, good. The rest of you, come join us. It's a bunch of fun. They're looking for some help. This year, they're looking for more help on the 27th, which is the Saturday. So if you can't come Sunday, you can come Saturday and help out. Last year, I think they were looking for 5 or 10. This year, they're looking for probably 30 or so. So Saturday is an option. w5nor.org/marathon is it. If you click on the thing that says click here, it will take you to the sign up. It is painless. I just did mine since Galen said, I don't see you on the list. So I just did mine. Stick in there. There are some rules, no firearms. There will be background checks, that kind of stuff. All the details are listed there. 27th, 28th is the event. Sunday, you start about 6 in the morning is where we want everybody on site so you can get ready for the thing. And you usually are headed home by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So just a small commitment, and it's a huge thing. If you don't know what you're doing and it's your first time there, you will be paired with somebody else who's responsible adult, and it might be me, which could be bad, but you will be helped along in that effort. So don't be scared. One of these QUANSHENG radios, where's Duane? One of these Duane's radios he was talking about would just work just fine for that. So you should be in good shape.
What's the code?
The code is not needed on the if you click the link, you don't need the code.
Oh, good.
It's already built in. Yes, there usually is a code for that. So off there, a question, one of the bills. Which bill? Equipment, you mean socks, underwear, t-shirt, t-shirt, pants. That's really important. Yeah. What you usually bring is a radio, battery, and then if you go past that, you bring speaker mics and extra batteries and the spectrum analyzer and all the rest of that kind of stuff. So you can bring what you have. If you're new, somebody else will be there. Somebody else be there with more equipment to do something. Yes, sir. Question. The day for the pre-registration meeting. Oh, give him $1. Day for the pre-registration meeting is Monday, the 22nd, and it is on here. The time has not been specified yet, but it's usually about 6:30 or 7, somewhere in that range. It is going to be at the Fire Training Center for Oklahoma City on the west side of town. By OSU OKC off of Portland. Yes. Those of us down here have to get a passport to get that far north. So it's kind of tough, but it is a great place to go. Don't feel like you have to be 5 radios and knowing everything. We need bodies. We really just need, breathing people would be a good thing. The second one there. Yeah. The 22nd, they'll give you all the details, but you don't have to be Superman or Superwoman, just normal us. What they really need is our critical thinking skills, that when something stupid happens, we're there to help them out. So we dispel the stupid. Any more on that we need to probably cut? Elmer Knight's still rocking and rolling. This place has been just packed for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think Mark said 11. There are 11 projects going on last week. I was involved in one, and I didn't even see the other guys that were there, gals that were there. So there's 10 or 12. If you buy, when you buy, or when you want to get a QUANSHENG radio, Tuesday night would be a good night to show up. And some of us will be smart enough to get your radio all programmed and get you up and going. We had a really couple cool, there's one half of the duo, the Rob, the La Follette. Okay. Did they have the QMX radio? If you've seen about $120 radio it fits in your shirt pocket, that's 5 bands on HF, Morse code, phone, soon to be phone, or is phone there now? Phone, soon to be phone, soon to be FT8, currently FT8, soon to be WinLink. That's what I'm waiting for, is a WinLink thing. They look phenomenal. They've actually got theirs up and running. And then I don't see him here. Paul Hoekston had a TR35, which is about a $300 kit. And he built his, and those guys built theirs. And they both were here the same night for the test. So we were running Morse code back and forth across the room on dummy loads to the two little home-built radios. So a lot of stuff's happening at those nights. If you have stuff that's laying around, if the stuff's laying around the house that you can't fix, Rodney,
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Guilty.
Yeah, bring it on out. That's what he said the other night. I need to bring these radios in. So bring them in, and it's a lot of fun. We have a blast, but 30 or 40 folks here, all that other kind of fun stuff. But that's good enough for now, I think.
All right. We're going to do some net reports. 6 meter.
Let's see, that's Monday night, 8 o'clock, 50.200 upper sideband. Come join us.
And then on Tuesday night, we have the Aries net. That's where we practice to see for severe weather. That's 8 o'clock or 20.00 on SCARS repeater. And everybody enjoys that, but not as much as the gossip net that follows at 8:30.
At 8:30, Gossip Net on the same repeater. Have a good time out there. Check in, talk about anything you like, almost. And we have a good time, so come join us.
And a MacNet.
Oh, and the MacNet in the mornings, 9 a.m. Every morning, Monday through Saturday. Another one, good times had. And others go to the McDonald's and have a little breakfast snack. Others just meet on the radio. Either one's fine with us. Okay.
Thank you.
DMR net Monday night, Mike.
On Monday evenings at 8:15 every Monday, we have the DMR net. It's an Aries DMR net. It's on Talk Group 3140 Oklahoma statewide, and we have people coming in checking all over the country. It's a lot of fun. So if you can and you've got DMR capability, jump on. Oh, also, if anybody's interested in being net control for the Aries net on Tuesday evenings, we could always use an extra net control operator.
We also need an Aries coordinator for SCARS. If anyone would like to volunteer to coordinate the Tuesday night nets, as well as be available for severe weather to run the nets on that. So 10 meter net.
Well, come and join us Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time for our 10 meter net on 28.445.
Siren net.
Siren nets. Yeah, I'm Wayne today. It's kind of a scary thought. Siren nets happen every Saturday when they are doing audible tests in the cities of Moore, Norman, Noble, and Newcastle. As soon as the siren's in, so about 1 or 2 minutes after 12, we'll fire up the net. It's a quick, easy net. The information we gather is appreciated by those emergency management personnel. We've lost over the few years, we've lost a lot of our monitors in the city of Moore. So if you're in the Moore area, we could use a few more spotters in Moore. And if you're interested in being in net control, we're also down one since we ran one off to Canada. Poor guy. So where he's getting snowed on today, I believe. Yeah. So, but Sirenet's noon Saturdays after the sirens.
Thank you. Levon, you want to talk about the hospital?
Well, I announced earlier in January that I'm going to need somebody to take over the hospital radio network because of my job. I'm going for promotion, and so I'm having to work extra hours and stuff, and I haven't had time to meet up with any of the hospitals and stuff. I am talking to a ham radio operator who's up at ears and stuff to see if maybe he can do it. He just recently retired from Integris and he's thinking about it. So fingers crossed. And Chris, I'm going to talk to you later about that too. So just a heads up. But yes, we are still sort of active. We're just kind of like paused at the moment for now, but hopefully we'll continue on as soon as we can find somebody who can take over and run with it. Thanks.
Best of luck with that.
For people that know Mike Lapuzza or the wireman, he could use your prayers, and Cheryl, his wife, could use your prayers. He is not doing well at all.
The wireman over in Mustang. FYI, we're in the process of ordering new hats. We're out of stock, and we've got new members that were requesting those. We've got coffee cups and buttons and stickers. Did Mark bring any of that?
No.
Thursday, he said he would, but you know. All right. Next month, the program is going to be on Faraday boxes. And don't forget about the time change tonight.
I got a move.
So Mark 2 wanted to do a commercial, and I'll get to Davey in a sec.
No, I'm just going to mention, like I did earlier briefly, these radios, as Duane Angles put to you, do everything except cook breakfast for you. Brent and the club, he had ordered quite a few of them, and we were hoping they'd be here today. You know how shipping is. Hopefully he'll get them this week. You can get the radio, like I said, the extended antenna and the programming cable for $40. It's a heck of a deal. And like Mark said, we can help you on Tuesday night, on Elmer nights, as far as programming the radios and kind of working through them with you.
Also, you can get it for $30 on Amazon, but it doesn't come with a programming cable. It just comes with your stock antenna. There's activity up here, the different events that are going on in the area, and a band plan. Also, Mark was going to do a commercial for the other Mark's book. If you're trying to upgrade or get your initial tech license, Mark has books.
These books have all three of the technician general and background. All they got is what they have in it is the question and the correct answer. You study those, and in 30 days you take the test. That's simple. And these books are $5. Good deal. And they're $2,000 elsewhere.
Oh, leave it to Mark. I called Dr. Phil yesterday and I had a good conversation with him. He's doing real good. They're supposed to be moving him to another facility, but to get him up and walking more. But he sounded real good. And yeah, he's still at Pam at the moment.
He's at Penn in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
And then where's he going to go? Do you know?
I don't know. He didn't know. Okay. But as soon as I find out, I'll let somebody know.
Any other announcements for the club? Thank everybody for coming. We always enjoy seeing all your faces. Is he going to get a radio? Apparently, ham radios interfere with like heart monitors and stuff.
That's okay. We only use those every once in a while.
Yeah.
What you can receive.
Okay. We are adjourned. Thanks, guys.